Hey, it's Justin here again, and we continue with the next installment of Excel for Old Blokes. Old Blokes, and those of you who've possibly been reluctant to ever get into it, delve into spreadsheets, we have created a sample spreadsheet, and we're going to carry on with that one. And we're now going to be looking at appearances. I like a spreadsheet that is intuitive, user-friendly, and looks good. And if we open the one that we were busy on, there we go. We've got a selection of 5 people in a basic database, people who've made purchases at a fictitious store, left their telephone numbers, their names, and email addresses. Now, what we can do is, imagine now you're going to print this. You're going to print this in a nice format. What is the first thing that comes to mind with printing? It's going to be portrait or landscape. So what I do generally is I'll go File and I'll go Print, and of course my printer's offline currently, and it defaults to Portrait. And here you've got a few options. My head is in the way there, but you've got Portrait and you've got Landscape there, and you can change between the two. But having initiated a tentative print job, what happens now is your print borders suddenly appear. So that little dotted line is your print parameter. So if you imagine this now being printed, it's not going to sit particularly nicely on your sheet of paper. So I like to play around with some columns. I like to drag this across, and now all of a sudden we've got a little bit of a gap there. We can pull that back a little bit as well. We've got a fairly reasonable border between the two. I'm going to right click on this row. I'm going to go Insert, and I'm just going to drop this down slightly. And that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Now, what you can do with this formatting tab or block here is you can make it nice and pretty on the eye. So you can block this off, and you can put a border, nice thick outside border. There we go. Doesn't look quite right, does it? Because you've got this big gap here, so I'm going to pull that in slightly. That looks quite nice. I don't like headings and the various fields right up against each other, so I'm going to right click on this row, and I'm going to go Insert, and I'm going to put in a little bit of a gap there. That looks quite nice. And you can do a variety of things now. You can drag, highlight that area, and you can now give it a little bit of a shading. There we go, a nice light gray. And all of a sudden, it's actually looking pretty nice. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you format an area like this, and you now copy and paste a field from within that, it takes the characteristics that you've already given it. Now it's easier explained as follows. If I highlight block E10, Control C, I'm going to copy it and paste it here, Control V, I've got essentially the same thing. I've got a gray block, and I've got a thick line underneath. So copy and pasting, this illustrates how copy and pasting will not just copy and paste the contents of the field, it will copy and paste the formatting and characteristics of the particular field that you're copying and pasting from. Now, another thing relating to that, by the way, is if you copy and paste, say, a number, you Control C, and you're now going to right click here, and you're going to go paste. All of a sudden, you've got a whole bunch of options. You can paste the value, you can paste the formula, you can transpose. We'll get to that a bit later on, but copy and pasting isn't always just what is in the particular field. It's also the characteristics of the field itself. So I'm now going to use our little trick with undoing. I'm going to undo that, and we're back to where we started. I can go forward a bit, and there we've got our nice block. When you have this happen, you just press escape. Currently, Windows has that as an active field. So escape and you basically are where you were. Now, if you wanted to save this as it stands, you would just go save, top left, and it's saved. You can set Excel to save progress as you go along. That's in the finer sort of more advanced settings. So you see what we've done. We've got our list. We've got it looking nice. We can change a whole bunch of characteristics and things. We can take it even further. So I'm going to give you an example. If we wanted our headings in a different font and a different size, we highlight the row, we go to Calibri, and if we want it in like black, Arial black, something really bold, Arial black, there we go. And now we've got a bit of a problem. Things are getting cut off here. So I'm going to highlight, drag, and pull up to that point. And then I'm going to see the mouse, my cursor has got the two outward pointing arrows, double click, and it just neatens it up again. I can highlight the contents of my address list. I can change it. Maybe I don't like Calibri, maybe I'm wanting Arial narrow, and there it is, Arial narrow. You can play around with multiple permutations. It's nice to have something that looks good, something that looks clean and is presentable. So now if we go back to File, we go Print, and we're previewing our print job. There we go. When you print, you probably have got a printer here, either on your network or a printer that you plugged into, but you can print a PDF as well. That creates a PDF version, generally locked, unmodifiable. You print a PDF if you're sending a quote, something where you're wanting to just lock the document without anybody being able to change it, with any ease. There's functionality where you can further pretty this up, and you can insert a logo, you can insert a photograph. So here I will insert a picture from this device. I've got a picture of the very computer I'm working on over there, and there it is. I can shrink it down just by dragging, and I can position it where I want it. Completely unrelated to anything that we've been doing, but there's a picture of an all-in-one Asus PC. And of course, we can undo it with the greatest of ease. Undo, undo. You'll see as you undo, having inserted the picture, shifting it around, resizing it, it doesn't just take the picture out in one go. It undoes every consecutive step, but in reverse, until the picture vanishes. So from an aesthetic point of view, you've got fonts, font sizes, formatting, you've got things that you can highlight, you can bold. It's pretty neat. And what you'll see in time is that a spreadsheet can be formatted in a way that if you're needing a checklist, or if you're needing to create a document to print out, to do a pre-delivery inspection on a machine or on a vehicle, Excel is great for that, because you've got these little blocks, these neat little fields into which you can put information. If you try and create the same thing in Word, it's not great. There's a very nice structure within Excel that allows you to really tailor make a checklist or a report, something that you may be filling out manually. You'll see that with time, that there's a vast amount of versatility here. With that, we're going to wrap this one up. We've got the aesthetic side, I think, quite nicely addressed. I'll see you now with the next one.